Speaking of like that, Carisha Please podcast, she dropped an episode with Trina. I have not watched it yet. I'm pretty sure it's good. Miami Meets Miami. This is really cute. The Queen of Miami meeting Young Miami. I bet that was fun. I still haven't watched her with G Herbo. I'm pretty sure that was good, so I need to watch that. That was probably interesting. But yeah, shout out to Carisha Please. Carisha Please. Girl, I have Nick Cannon on the docket. Why is that? Oh yeah, I remember this. Nick Cannon said he didn't have enough time, he don't have enough time to spend with his kids. He doesn't. Of course, we've been saying that for the minute while he was having these non-black children. So Mariah Carey is apparently like she wants sole custody. She wants primary custody of her kids. Period. Like he don't have time to do the things because he's doing all this other stuff. Like it's not even funny no more because these children end up suffering. But you know, we care about the kids, but we don't care about the kids. Like there's no way in the hell for you to be this involved with these children as their father. And there's like what 10 plus of them. It's like 10 of them now, and they're all about it. Like there's just no healthy relationship going on. It's really unhealthy. Snip, snip, please, somebody quickly. Yeah. So I want to talk about the football situation with Damar Hamlin. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly because every time I see it, I think about Damar. I don't know, but Damar. And when I saw it, it was a lot. Thankfully, he has moved out of the hospital. He's doing pretty good. He's being a lot of support and stuff, and folks were just really just loving on him as they should. But I talked about, and I think I talked about this on Patreon, how, football is a completely unhealthy sport. Like, it's unhealthy. And we want to talk about health all the time. We want to talk about, we promoting unhealthy lifestyles, obesity, this and that. When folks, y'all don't care about health. Y'all care about image. The NFL, like, what it does to, like, these folks' bodies, we're still trying to figure out. Like, we can't even figure out, like, what is going on in their brain until after they have, like, passed away. Like, this is a dangerous, very dangerous sport. And we sit here and watch it every Sunday. We celebrate it once a year with the Super Bowl. There's no conversation about how, like, it's probably a small conversation, but we don't really care. We do not care about health. And I just get so tired of that conversation. Like folks will say, you need to get help. You need to do this, and then spend the whole weekend drunk out their mind to the point they can barely stand up. Piss is probably the color of blood orange. Like, it's ridiculous. But we care about health. Just my little rant or whatever. But I'm glad that Damar Hamlin is okay. I'm glad that like nothing happened to him. Cause just seeing him pass out like that was just a lot. It was a lot. Like, man stood up and then just fell out. Like, and then I started to think about, and I have a friend who husband used to play in the NFL, and she shared some stuff that was going on of how, like, the contracts for for men who make it to the NFL, like, it's expensive once they get out. Like, they, like the contracts and stuff are different. They don't get that much support once they, you have to do so many years. And that's even more wear and tear on your body. The NFL is, like, out here destroying these folks' bodies and stuff, and they are not out here taking care of everybody. The same way the Army does, same way the military does. I'm a proponent, like, what's the name of that? Military literally had me in some of the worst places, breathing in some of the worst chemicals, doing some very, like, stuff, and then I get to the VA and it's just like, oh girl, wait in line. Like, thankfully, since I'm HIV positive, like, I have good access and stuff to a doctor and stuff, but it is hard getting appointments and stuff. Like, it is very hard. Like, the facility is trash. Like, the facility is like garbage. Especially, I hate it so much. It's very outdated. But yeah, we just don't be caring about health like we just pretend to be. And I just wish that we would just be honest about that instead of trying to make up. We care about health, like, da-da-da-da. No, y'all don't. Y'all care about looks and what stuff looks like. That's what's important to y'all. And if it don't fit that, it's no issue. It's none whatsoever. But yeah, what else is going on? I want to just touch on that briefly and hit on some other stuff. Oh yeah, Skip Bayless. Somebody should have snatched him out of his seat when he made that comment. Like, I'm glad that folks banded together and chewed him up, like rightfully so, because he was really out of order. That white man is just like a nuisance. But he was very stern. The way he was talking, he sounded like a true. He sounded like one of those. He sounded like he was a member of the KKK when he was speaking. He was like, like the way he just seemed to not care. He just cared about the game. He was giving that energy, child. But them folks band together to protect their black men. I wish that y'all would do that more when it comes to black women being harmed and stuff. I wish that folks banded together to do that. But maybe we'll find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. So I want to talk about Gangsta Boo. Unfortunately, she passed away earlier this month. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about rumors or whatever. I did, hear some rumors about, her passing and how she passed. They're saying that she passed away from fentanyl. I've been seeing this conversation a lot, and I feel like we're having it in private too much, and we need to be talking about it publicly in a respectful way. Addiction is a real thing. People use drugs. People do. Like, we just need to come to terms, like, people do drugs. But I feel like that we're losing a lot of black folks to fentanyl. I lost my brother to it. I know some other folks who have. We need to be creating environments for people to feel comfortable sharing that they do said thing. And, we need to, I don't know. I just feel like that there's been so much shame in this conversation about Gangsta Boo, because when she passed, like, people were asking questions. How did she pass away? Like, what's going on? And people were saying, oh, well, that's not the story right now. And I feel like that is the story. We're talking about black folks. We're talking about a black woman who was, relatively like young. She was like in her 40s or something. She was not old. So we want to know. And I was, thinking about this conversation I had with my friend the other day, because someone in our community passed away recently, and people were asking how they passed away and what it was and and people didn't want to talk about it. They said this is kind of messy, and I don't think anything is wrong with talking about death, and I want to do a video discussing that more in detail, because I feel like people be feeling shame to, like, say, if something takes me out of here, I want people to talk about it. I want to have a conversation. I don't want people to feel shameful of talking about it. Like, if a complication of me being HIV positive takes me out, talk about it. If there's a complication of me taking medication, talk about it. I don't want it to be any shame, because I want it to be something that can potentially protect other folks like myself. Like, we can talk about that. Even if it's, God forbid, I'm not saying that that's possible. Well, I'm not saying, girl, that's too much. But even like when we talk about death by suicide, like, people should be able to talk about that. And I feel like we do this thing when someone passes away and we're not sure, we're not sure how people feel if we say. So we do this thing when people pass away, well, we won't say what it is if it's like shame to it. We just say such and such passed away. But if it's something that is like, no, oh, they passed away, they lost their battle to cancer, they did this, or this happened to them, or it was, something happened to them, we don't mind sharing that. But if it's something that we're kind of shameful or feeling like embarrassed about, we kind of just don't say it, which leads to more questions and more rumors and stuff. So I don't know if this happened to Gangsta Boo, but I feel like the presence of us not knowing how she passed away is lingering on, and I don't think it's messy to have a conversation about it. Gangsta Boo definitely is a legend in the Memphis rap community. She was that girl. Like, I didn't listen to rap, and I was telling my good boo T that I didn't listen to rap. I started listening to rap probably like when in my 20s or something, but I did not listen to rap when I was young. My father was older and my mother was more Christian, and we just didn't listen to like that type of music or whatever. I don't think it wasn't allowed, but it just also wasn't something I was interested in. So I knew about Gangsta Boo, but I didn't know about her and her influence. And like, I was going back watching her, like, I was like, oh my God, homegirl was talented. But she was eating it. Like, she was really, really chewing it. Yeah, so, you know, rest in peace to her and her family. I know it was a conversation about, you know, folks were saying, well, why such and such didn't show up to Gangsta Boo's funeral? The homeboy said, who was that? I can't think of who it was. They was like, I paid for it. Like, I paid for the funeral. And I feel like that's another conversation. Like, when people don't, like, show up to the services, people think that's disrespect. But you don't know how challenging and triggering that can be for somebody. And it can, like, stuff like that can send people into relapse. We don't know what they could be dealing with. I wouldn't be sharing with somebody, well, I'm not having no funeral because, girl, if you put me on the casket, I'm going to shake it. I already told y'all. But you don't want to send some, like, make somebody do something they not. Like, I just don't like all of this stuff that we have to do that. I don't have to do shit. I don't have to do anything. But I think I can't think of who that was, but he was like, I paid for the funeral. Period. But yes, that's the conversation about Gangsta Boo. She did get into some little Twitter drama in a conversation about that I can't think of his name. There was this black male rapper, older rapper, who was harassing one of my Twitter mutuals. He was harassing this black woman on Twitter for like months, for like a year or something. Like, the followers were harassing her, all types of stuff, because she had disagreed with something he had said, and they were trying to embarrass her and stuff online. It was really sad, and people brought it to Gangsta Boo. They was like, hey, you know, I think his name was Talib. They was telling him, like, they was telling Gangsta Boo, like, hey girl, like, this is what's going on. And she was like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. She was kind of like very, like, you know, pushing it back, like not interested in the conversation. I was just like, oh girl, this ain't looking good. They shoot her up as they should. Like, girl, that's just what it is. I'm gonna talk about Prince Harry just a little bit. I'm just gonna say this, and I'm working on a video about it. I am tired of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, to be honest. I watched a little bit of their documentary. I might do a review on it, I might talk about it. I'm just really tired of both of them, to be honest. Like, listening to Meghan Markle talk about, like, all her experiences of racism and stuff, and then her own husband, who is white, who is part of the British Empire, who is part, like, colonialism, who literally gets his name from colonialism, didn't want to name that racism existed. Like, the stuff that happened was, like, it's just, I don't have time for these folks trying to pretend to be progressive, and then y'all still marrying into a system that is very anti that. And the stuff, like, I just don't, I just can't for the life of me get it. I can't get it. I want her and him to shut up, to be completely honest. Like, they're getting on my everlasting nerves. Like, Megan talking about all this, like, girl, your mother raised you as a white woman. That's the reason why. Going back to what I said earlier, like, oh, you know, I was too white for the blacks and I was too black for the whites, but you still have no black friends. Like, girl, you showing pictures. None of your friends, like, you didn't have, like, any black folks around you. Yes, blackness is not a monolith. Yes, we get that. But y'all not even surrounded by, like, black folks who can shape that blackness is not a monolith. Y'all are hanging around white folks who are teaching you that blackness is a monolith. Like, girl, make it make sense for me. So yes, I will be talking about that because I just got all of the things talking about that. Also, to end this video, the whole situation with Andrew Tate. Did not see that on my 2023 bingo card at all. Homeboy was talking mess to that girl, that activist girl, what's her name, Greta, and next thing you know, like, they found some stuff on him and they arrested him, girl. Like, it was just over with for her. Like, it was just over with for Miss Andrew Tate. It was just, girl, that was so quick. Like, they got him on what, sex trafficking charges? Him and his brother or somebody. Like, I'm just like. And I don't necessarily think this is karma, because karma should not be putting other folks in harm. Like, he put women in harm. So I don't see this as karma. I just think that this goes to his negative, like, energy, like his toxicity showed up in other things. Because if a person is like anti this or toxic in this, it shows up in other ways. And I think we have to realize that, like, a lot of times, like, if folks, like, let's be honest, I'm gonna be honest, if for my girls, for my cis girls, for my cis women, if a man is homophobic, if you dating a man and he's like or whatever, or whoever, that's just gonna show up in other things. Like 9 times out of 10, if they also have some hatred towards women as well. They also have these other ideologies because all this stuff is interconnected. And we have to realize that. So just pay attention. Just pay attention because it's always, she goes and she does her lines and stuff. But yeah, that's how I think. That's what I think of all the whole situation. I might talk about it a little bit more in depth, but I don't want to talk out here because it's a Thursday. Y'all might be getting this video Friday. But I hope y'all are having a good week. I hope y'all had a good week. I appreciate y'all listening to me vent, talk mess, all of those things. And until next time, I'll talk y'all on the flip side. Make sure you subscribe to my Patreon to support me. That's patreon.com/KingDeRees. Like, girl, I'm really holding his fingers. I cannot for the life of me. It is such a struggle for me to throw the peace sign, but I love it. But she be a struggle. I don't know what's going on. I feel like it's about to fall off. But you see how, like, see, girl, I'm gonna start doing this. Ooh, is that a gang sign? Oh my God. 21, can you do something for me? Yeah, but thank y'all so much. Subscribe to my Patreon. I love y'all. I'll talk y'all later.